So, hey, Team Phys Ed, Nathan Horn from iphysed.com here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to another What I've Learned, a weekly YouTube series where I share a little bit of something that I've learned that week. It's been a bit of a break since the Christmas and New Year holiday. It's my first week back at school, and I'm wanting to get straight back into the What I've Learned series. So, hey Ryan, thanks for joining in. This week's What I've Learned, I want to share something that I've learned over the holidays. And actually, there's a lot of things that I've learned over the holidays, and a lot of it has to do with this fantastic book by Tim Ferriss, Tools of Titans. If you haven't heard of it, you must be living under a rock because it is currently the #1 bestseller on the New York Times list. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, great to see you here, bud. I hope to catch up with you soon. Tools of Titans is a fantastic book by Tim Ferriss. Now, what it is, if you don't know who Tim Ferriss is, he is basically an evil genius, I guess, if you want to put it that way. He tries to deconstruct world-class performers, industry leaders, billionaires, people who are really at the peak of their game. And what he tries to do is deconstruct what it is that makes them successful. He has a podcast called the Tim Ferriss Show podcast. If you haven't listened to that, make sure you check that out. I'll make sure to link it in the comments below. The problem with the podcast is that it's often very long. A lot of his episodes run into the hour and a half, 2 hours or longer. So for a lot of people, that's too long. Sometimes I have the time to listen to those, sometimes I don't. But the great thing about this book, Tools of Titans, is that basically this is all of his podcasts summarized into 2 or 3 chapter sections. So for each podcast guest, for each celebrity, famous sports person, somebody who's doing something amazing, he's really summarized 2 or 3 hours worth of chatting with them into a couple of pages, just pulling out the key points. Now, I started reading this book over the holidays while I was in the Gili Islands in Bali, and I couldn't put it down. You can see it's a very, very thick book, much thicker than a lot of the books that I normally read, and you can see that I've already made a lot of notes. I've highlighted stuff, I've added post-it notes. Some of my absolute highlights at the moment, or things that really jumped out at me and things that really apply to phys ed, was a fantastic one here by a guy called Jason Niemer, who is the co-founder of Acro Yoga. You can check that out at acroyoga.com. Now, what he talks about movement and play, and he says that what would you put on a billboard? If you could advertise anything to anybody, what would it be? And he says play more. I feel like people are so serious and they don't take much. It doesn't take much for people to drop back into the wisdom of childlike playfulness. If I had to prescribe 2 things to improve the health and happiness in the world, it would be movement and play, because you really can't play without moving. So they're really intertwined. Treadmills kill your spirit. There are reasons and times to do treadmills, but if that's the only way that you're moving your body, you're selling yourself short. There are much cooler ways to move your body, way more fun things, and I just happen to have the good fortune to learn a lot of these really cool things. So play. I think that really speaks to us as physical educators and what we do, and thinking about how we can incorporate elements of play into our physical education curriculums. This quote really came to me and talked about assessment. It talked about blood tests, basically, and it made me think about the way that we assess. So it says that a blood test really is only a snapshot of what's happening in that very moment, and that your blood work can actually change quite significantly over the course of a year or over the course of a week or a day. So if you're taking blood results based off one test, often those results are not going to be necessarily indicative of anything. And it really made me think about assessment and the way that we assess students. If we're really just looking at can they perform a certain skill on a certain day, I don't think we're really giving students the opportunity to think really deeply, or for us to really be able to see the way that they're able to perform, because they may just be having an off day. What we're asking them to do, we may have set up the assessment task not the right way. So lots of little things in the book that can really get you thinking about things in different ways. There's really fantastic quotes, really fantastic tips. He breaks the book into three three parts: so healthy, wealthy, and wise. He talks about healthy being how can you live a healthier life, little tips and tricks for doing that. Wealthy not only in money, but wealthy in time. And we know that time is the greatest wealth. It's the only thing that we can't get back. And then wise, how can we become smarter? So, I mean, as you can see, I'm about halfway through it, but it's really probably been one of the best books that I've ever had the chance to pick up. And I know that I'm going to go back and reference it again and again and again. So if you have the opportunity, make sure you check it out. Tools of Titan. For this week's What I've Learned, it is my must read. I'd love to hear what you think of it. If you have got this book already, if you don't have it and you do get it, please shoot me a message and let me know what you think. And I'd be more than happy to discuss it with you. Like I said, I've learned so much from this book, not only as a physical educator, but as a person, ways to improve your life and to think about things in different ways. So for this week, that's what I've learned. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys again next Friday for another What I've Learned. Peace out.